right, everyone. Well, I'm glad to be together this morning. I would like to begin with some breathing practices that help us to create a calm and balance in the body. And I just want to preface this by saying that in the yogic anatomy that looks at the subtle body, we have a network of channels that run through run through us energetically, and these channels are called nadis, very similar to meridians that you might have seen discussed in the Chinese system. And the main nadi, or channel through which prana, life energy, flows, is called the sushumna, that goes right through the center line of your spine. And that's why we talk about beginning our practice, inviting that length and lift so that you can unblock and unkink that channel or that conduit for your energy to freely flow, for your prana to flow optimally through you. And along that central channel, you will find the chakra points, which are powerful energy centers that are responsible for different levels of consciousness and different ways that we move through the world. And that's a whole deep, beautiful study. We're not going to get into that too much today. But just so that you know, all those chakra points are found along that central channel, the sushumna. Now, there are two main nadis that branch off on either side of the sushumna, that central column. And they start at the base of the spine, and they crisscross through those chakra points, and they weave up like a caduceus on either side of the spine, crisscrossing, and they meet at the third eye. They terminate at the third eye. Some schools of thought say they actually go right into the nostrils. And so they start on either side of the spine, and they weave back and forth through these chakra points, meeting at either side of the third eye point. And they are responsible for the energetic polarities that are part of us, physically, mentally, spiritually. In yoga, we work with physical balance, postures with the gross physical body, either standing on one leg or standing on both legs. We're working with our physical balance. And we also work with energetic balance, which is cleansing and balancing how prana flows through those nadis. And we can do that with breathing practices, which we'll do today. We also work with mental balance, which is the practice of equanimity, or balance of mind and heart. And we can do that through meditation. We're going to begin with a balancing breathing practice called Nadi Shodhana, or alternate nostril breathing, that cleanses and purifies those two channels that run alongside your central spinal nerve. That is a way of clearing those channels so that the prana will flow more freely, more optimally. So what I'd like to invite you to do is to begin by clearing your nostrils if you can. If you have a tissue nearby or a hanky. And you may find that even though you're blowing your nose, that you will have one nostril perhaps more clogged than the other. That's actually normal. That's actually natural, because in the yogic system of energy, the body shifts from having one nostril or one nadi. The nostrils are connected with those nadis or channels. One will be more open than the other for about an hour and a half at a time, switching side to side. And of course, throughout the day. And of course, there are other things that can impact upon our nostrils, like having congestion, like I've been having. So once your nostrils are clear, I want to invite you to find your long and lifted spine on your chair. Some of you may choose, if you're comfortable with it, to sit on the floor cross-legged, up on a cushion if you prefer. But otherwise, find your long and lifted spine with your sitting bones at the edge of your chair. I'm going to stay right here before I go back to my chair so I can be nice and close with you as we do this practice. Find the length in the back of the neck, root down through your tailbone, let the shoulders roll down and back so your heart is nice and wide open. We're going to begin with just some pranifying, enlivening breaths. So take a long, slow, deep breath in, lift the breath through the nose, up into the chest, and hold. Feel yourself full, like you've just been blown up like a balloon. And hold and feel every cell light up with prana, with life energy. And let go and release. And as you release, let yourself make a little sound. These are letting go breaths, tense and release breaths. So inhale, fill up all the way, and savor that breath like you're inhaling the fragrance of beautiful flower, or maybe pumpkin spice at this time of year, whatever your favorite fragrance is. Hold, not straining, just hold enough till you feel that tingling, that heat, maybe a little bit of pulsing, increased heart rate, and then exhale. What can you let go of with that exhale? One more. Filling all the way up. Hold, enjoy that fullness. Feel that prana streaming into every cell and into those nadis, those 72,000 channels, and exhale. We'll take a little tense and release now. This time, inhale and draw the shoulders up to the ears, clench the fists, and draw the elbows in toward the ribs, scrunch up the face, close the eyes, tight, tight, tight. Hold, 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 and let it go. Feel that flood of energy, that warmth, moving down the neck and out the arms as you enjoy that release. Sometimes we need to go to where we don't want to be to end up where we do want to be, which is open and soft and fluid. Take a deep breath in again, scrunch the shoulders up, clench the fists. This time, bring it into your belly, so draw the navel in and up. If you want to bring your chin to your chest, too, you can take that throat lock, hold, 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 tight, 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 tight. Really scrunch up the face, the eyes, the jaw, everything tight, 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 and let go. And enjoy the melting. Just feel the juxtaposition of the tensing and then the loveliness of letting go. One more time. Tight, tight, tight. This time, bring the clenching into your butt. Nobody knows, nobody can see, so clench up those butt muscles. Lift the pelvic floor if you can. So everything lifts in and up. Everything draws in toward the center. Tight, 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 tight. You can bring your chin to your chest if you like. Hold, hold, hold. And let it all go. And enjoy the softening of the muscles around the face. Just feel the brow release, the eyes, muscles around the eyes. The forehead, the jaw, the tongue. Let the lips just say gently close. And feel that release like a river, a warm river like honey, a river of honey flowing down the neck, down the shoulders, down the sides of the arms. And just notice what's alive in you for a moment. Turn your palms up so you can just feel that sense of receptivity here. And now let's roll the shoulders. Just take some rolls. Big circles with the shoulders up and back and down. And as you draw your shoulders back and down, feel the enjoyment of the opening of the heart. Now, if you notice, the word shoulder is spelled like shoulder. Have you ever seen that? Should-er is your shoulder. So if there's anything that you feel like you should be doing, if you've been shoulding on yourself or somebody else is shoulding on you, let that roll off. Let go of those shoulds as you roll your shoulders one way, up and back and down, and then the other way, rolling them up and forward. What can you offer out? Any shoulds or have-tos or gotta-dos? Any musts or mustn'ts, just for now. Let them go. All right. And then once again, palms turn up on the lap. Just feel what you've invited in and what you've released. Okay, we're going to take that alternate nostril breathing now. So I'm going to invite you to take your right hand, and I'm not going to be mirroring you here. So take your right hand and turn the palm away from you. for a moment and just bring your first finger and your second finger down to that fleshy mound at the base of the thumb. As much as far as you can do that. So your thumb is extended, your ring finger and your pinky, and then turn your palm to face toward you. You're going to close off your right nostril. And again, I'm not mirroring. Your right nostril is closed off, your left is open. Take a deep breath in through the left. Close off the left nostril, open the right, and exhale through the right. Stay with your long spine. Notice if you're going into Shalampasana, stay with long spine. After you've completely exhaled, nice and slow through the right, inhale through the right again, same side. At the top, close the right nostril, open the left, switch, and exhale through the left. Keep the facial muscles soft. You can keep your gaze cast slowly down. If you need to look at me at first, you can do that, and then gaze down in front of you. Inhale through the left. Close the left, open the right, exhale through the right. Same side inhale. So right side inhale. And when you feel full with that inhale, switch and exhale through the left. After the exhale, you inhale same side. And switch at the top. So the pattern is you switch at the top at the fullness of your inhale, then you exhale other side. Exhale right. At the end of your exhale, inhale same side. Inhale right. Switch at the top to exhale left. Inhale left. Now your breath might be longer or slower than mine or faster. You want to try to invite the breath to be long and slow, but everybody's breathing pattern is different. So find your own pattern here. You're going to inhale one side, switch at the top, exhale other side. Then you'll inhale same side after the exhale and switch. So it's exhale, inhale, switch, exhale, inhale, switch. Keep going at your own pace. And you may notice that one nostril feels a little more clogged, like I mentioned before. So if you need to, you can flare the nostril by pressing the thumb or the fingers into the cheek to spread the cheek, or you can even cheat a little bit by bringing fingertip and fingernail inside the nostril so that you can open it a little more if you need to. Switching side to side, we switch at the top of the inhale. And what we're working with here is balancing the subtle body, the flow of prana, cleansing the channels on either side of the spine. We are also balancing the polarities within us, the energetic polarities. You're balancing your right and left hemispheres of your brain. You're balancing your energetic solar and lunar side. The solar side is your right side. The lunar side is your left side. Your lunar side is your feminine side. Your solar side is your masculine side. So we're balancing those energies. You're balancing your active and passive side. If you think about the Chinese system, your yin and your yang, light and dark, active, passive. You're balancing your rational mind and your intuitive mind, that right and left brain. And cleansing those channels, inviting prana to flow freely and in a balanced way. So whenever you feel out of balance or need to come into a sense of balanced calm, you can practice this breathing practice. It has no contraindications. Anyone can do it. The next time you exhale through your left side, release the mudra And just come into refreshing your posture, long spine, palms turned up, close the eyes, and notice the effects of Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing. And then let the eyes open. As you're seated on your chair, we'll come to the 6 movements of the spine. So bring your hands onto your knees and we'll take cat-cow, seated cat-cow. Opening the heart, your sitting bones like those blades of a rocking chair. Flowing with breath, syncing up your breathing, your movement, and your awareness. In and out through the nose, both nostrils. Opening the throat a little bit as you lift the chin. Exhale, chin to chest, spreading behind the heart. As you take that back bend, you're opening the front body, opening the heart, letting it shine forth. Exhale, chin to chest, navel in toward the spine. And lengthening up on the next inhale, let the arms reach and rise. Reach through right fingertips, reach through left fingertips. Exhale into a twist to your right. I'll mirror you here. The end of your exhale, take an inhale to come back up to center. Exhale left. Flowing side to side. With breath. Enjoying whatever depth of twist is available to you in your spine. You don't have to make it super deep. We're just warming up right now. We're going to do a deeper twist later for those of you who are needing that. One more round each side. Right and left. And then palms come together, hands come back to the heart. Bringing those polarities together, every time you bring the hands together in that namaste gesture, you're bringing energetically those polarities together. Right arm rises, left hand can just support yourself on the left side of your chair. Lengthen up, unshrug the shoulder, take it into a side bend. Both sit bones stay rooted in the chair. Inhale up to center, exhale, float the arms down. Other side, lift up on the inhale, exhale into your side bend, reaching long and away. Notice if that elbow's bending and see if you can lengthen out. Breathe right into your fingertips and that upper hand. Inhale up to center, exhale, float down. Syncing it up with breath. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, side bend. Inhale, lengthen up, exhale, float that arm down. And one more time, other side. Lift up, exhale into the side bend. Maybe you can get a little deeper side bend here. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, float that arm down. And now we'll take it into opening the heart. So interlace your fingers behind you. And those of you who feel comfortable doing this standing, maybe you want to get a little bit more room to really lift those hands. And remember, you can use your strap. If you find that your elbows are doing this, try creating a little bit of space between the hands with a nice taut strap. So either sitting on the very front edge of your chair, spreading wide through the heart, let those shoulder blades try to kiss one another. Take a few breaths here, drawing the knuckles down and away from you. And if you're standing, see if you can lift them a little bit higher and see if you can really expand through the chest here. And as I offer you another wonderful quote that inspires us to open the heart. Everything that you do physically has an energetic and psycho-spiritual benefit. So, breathe in and out of that heart center. The great Buddhist teacher Jack Kornfield said, "It is true that the heart has its seasons, just as a flower opens to the sunlight and closes to the night. We need to be respectful of those rhythms, but we can't close down for long. It is our true nature to have an open heart." It is your true nature to have an open heart. And if you'd like to take this into the next level of exploration, you can fold forward if you're sitting on your chair. Maybe you'll want to place your blanket. You might need to release your hands first to get that in position. So come into your version of a forward fold. If you enjoy and feel steady and comfortable in standing postures, you can go halfway down or full forward fold here, reaching your hands, clasp hands up to the sky, get that nice squeeze, stretch in the shoulders, upper arms, then release the hands and enjoy your forward fold, either seated or standing. Let the head release if that's comfortable for you and appropriate for you. Find some movements, yes and no. And to come back up, you can press into your thighs if you're on the chair and roll up. Keep your chin tucked and roll up very slowly. If you are doing a standing forward bend, soften the knees, press your hands into your thighs. Come up to standing, roll the shoulders, your shoulders down and back, spread the hands, and come either into standing mountain pose or seated, palms turned up, a seated mountain with that long and lifted, beautiful spine. Okay, let's do some torso circles here. So your feet can be a little bit wider if you'd like. Your hands can be on your thighs or on your hips. I think it's more steady on your thighs. So circling. And if you are standing and you feel like you'd enjoy doing this standing, you can have your hands on your hips. It's a little bit of a balance play here. How wide can you make those circles of the torso, keeping the hips and legs firm and steady, grounding you, just circling the upper body. So you can do that standing, or you can do it seated in your chair. And then circle the other way. Lots of breath here. Don't forget to breathe. Okay, coming back to center. Hopefully you notice a little more aliveness, a little more flow of prana. We're going to do an opening, hip opening, nice glute stretch and hip opener, the figure 4. This is in the family of pigeon-like poses. This can be done on a mat, or this can be done standing as a balance pose. This can be lying down or in a chair. We're going to do it in a chair today. So you're going to bring above your ankle to the opposite leg. So let's say you're taking your left knee, if you're going to mirror me, you would take your left knee and turn it out to the side. Not on your ankle so that the foot sickles. You want to have the whole ankle and foot beyond your right leg. And find that upright posture. Maybe that knee will be sticking up a little bit more than mine. That's okay. You want to enjoy feeling that opening in the hip and invite the outer edge of that knee as much as you're comfortable with to draw down toward the floor. Now for some of you, you might want to juice it up a little bit by pressing the left hand into your left, inside of your left knee. And just this stretch can, for some of you, feel very strong. So breathe with it. Let it be a practice of just noticing the sensations and sending your breath to where the sensations are strong. For some of you, you may want to take it a little bit deeper, either with a blanket or just with your forearms on your figure 4 legs, folding forward on your forearms, or maybe even coming all the way down. This is where a block can be useful, to press your hands into a block, maybe on the highest setting. As you fold over the legs here, you're going to notice that that really amplifies the stretch. So if it's enough for you just to do this, then that's your body telling you that's as far as where you should go. Long, slow, deep breath in. If you practice Ujjayi breath with that little narrowing of the back of the throat, you can engage that here, because this can be a very strong posture, whether you're upright or folded over. And one more breath. Slowly release. Give a little shake out. Notice the difference between one leg and one hip, one glute from the other. And we'll try it on the other side. And it might be that you need to help yourself with your arms to get your leg in place. Remember, foot is past the thigh. And you may notice that one side has a more open hip, more access to this pose than the other side. Maybe one side your knee stuck way up, and maybe you can get much more of a rotation in the hip on another side. So first, just recommitting to that long spine, let the heart be open, and notice what's happening in the face. If the posture is strong, sometimes we inadvertently start to get into tension and grimacing. If that's happening, that's a sign to back off a little bit. So don't try to push too far into it. Just one of the things you can do is slide the foot of that's on the floor, slide that forward a little bit, which would bring your thigh down. Remember, you're at the front of your chair. If you're sitting too far back in your chair, you're not going to be able to get that benefit. So be with your sitting bones at the very edge of your chair and explore just what you did on the other side. Either palm inside knee and just give a little press, or folding forward. Just taking a few breaths with each stage. So you're never rushing, leaping into anything deeper. It's all an experiment of exploring a little bit at a time. How does the body want to open in this side? Maybe that block underneath will be helpful and useful. So maybe experiment with the position of the foot. Do you need to slide the bottom foot forward, or do you want it under your ankle? Let's see how you're all doing. I mostly see your ceilings, but that's okay. All right. Take a couple more breaths here in your figure 4 seated pigeon. And pressing into the thighs to come back up. Bring the feet down and just kind of shake them out. Any kind of wiggles and waggles that feel good here. And then we're going to come to some standing poses. So slowly bring yourself to standing. I'm going to turn my chair just so that you can see the view. And we'll take it into a downward dog to warrior 1 flow. So behind your chair, and some of you prefer to do downward dog on the chair with a little deeper angle of the upper back. If you prefer that, you can do it there, especially if you don't need the chair to hang on to. You can do your warrior pose like this. Otherwise, come to the back of the chair, gently placing your palms on the back of the chair. Walk the feet back till your spine has a flat back like a table, and your arms are extended without bending the elbows. You can unlock them, but don't have them bent if you can. Toes point straight ahead, hip width apart. Spread the sit bones. Enjoy that yummy stretch in the backs of the legs. You're going to bring your ears in line with your upper arms, let the heart sink down. If you need to bend your knees a little to take some of the tension out of the hamstrings, that's fine. A few deep breaths here, reaching the tailbone back, letting the heart melt down as low as it can comfortably go. Breathe and enjoy the expansion through the whole torso, through the backs of the legs. Downward facing dog. One more breath in and out. Slowly bending the knees to rise up, step your right foot forward, take it into a warrior 1. This time, spin the back heel inward 45 degrees, or you can turn your toes outward. So that back foot is flat. This is a more traditional version of warrior 1. You're going to need to work a little harder to get that left hip crease, whatever your back leg is, that hip crease forward, the front hip crease back of the bent knee, and either holding onto the chair, it can be opposite arm and leg if you need this for balance, otherwise both hands to the sky. Reach fingertips up, unshrug the shoulders, spread the heart, bring your mind and body and attitude into that of warrior. So you're summoning that sense of determination, strength, courage, and fortitude. If it's available to you, you can once again open the heart, remembering, as Jack Kornfield said, that is your true nature, your natural state. Big breath in and release, hands to the chair, step back, another downward dog. Notice the difference between one leg and the other here. We'll step it forward with the left foot, coming into warrior one. Again, the back heel spins inward. If you find it hard to square your hips here, because that warrior one, you're facing head on, whatever it is that you're facing, you can widen your stance a little. You can step that right foot on this side out a little bit so that you can more easily have both hip pointers straight ahead, tailbone down, reach up. If you need opposite arm and leg, so whatever leg is forward, the opposite arm reaches up as you steady yourself with the chair. Notice if you're leaning forward or to the side, and try to touch into that sense of the Sushumna going right down through the central channel of your spine. Otherwise, both hands up, pinky spin inward. Notice how that expands through the shoulders as you turn your palms inward and pinkies inward. Reaching up through the tips of the fingers to the sky. See if you can be long enough in your stance so that front thigh can come a little closer to parallel. Maybe it'll be at an angle, but a little bit more juice in it here. If it's available, open the heart, spread the heart. This is optional. If you need to hold on to the chair, that's fine to skip this one. And then release and step up. And just notice what's alive in your legs, in your heart. Maybe you have a little bit increased heart rate here. We're going to take it into, actually, keep standing behind your chair. We're going to do the one pose. This is kind of ironic. The one pose, this is called the chair pose, but it's the one pose where we actually don't use the chair. One of the poses where we don't in our standing practice. If you need to hold on with fingertips to the chair for balance, you can do that. Otherwise, you're going to keep your feet hip width apart, hands in prayer to start, and we're going to sit down into your chair. As a matter of fact, let's start actually with the hands on the hips and just do a little pulse. Sit down, you're going to bring your weight a little more into your heels like you're about to sit down in a chair, and then rise up. Inhale as you lengthen, exhale as you sit down in your chair. Try not to do this, okay? You wouldn't sit in a chair like this. You want to keep your shoulders higher than your hips. You don't have to go down super low. Inhale, lengthen up. This is a strong leg strengthener. Sitting down in your chair. Inhale up. And this time we'll see if we can hold for 3 breaths, or as long as you comfortably can. So sitting down in your chair, don't have to go way deep down, just even a little bit. Keeping your spine upright, shoulders over hips. Weight comes into the heels a little more. Either hands in prayer, praying that I won't make you hold this too long, or you can let your hands reach out in that pose of receiving grace, palms turned up. Ujjayi breath. You can do this for one more breath. And when you need to come out, let the arms rise, palms come together, back to the heart. Oh yeah, you feel that in your legs? You can do a little shake out. Hold on to your chair, shake out one leg, and shake out the other leg. Okay. Let's take it into a side bend, standing half moon like we did last time. So your feet are going to be hip width apart. Remember, standing half moon had several options of how you can do this. You can have one hand on the chair, reaching and lengthening. We always start with the length. We did this seated, now we're going to do it standing. So you can take a little deeper side bend when you're holding onto the chair. You want your body in one plane, like you're between two panes of glass, really sticking that hip out to the side, really juicing up that sense of expansion through the side body. Or you can have one hand on the hip and do the same thing. Or if you want something a little more challenging, hands in steeple pose, interlaced fingers with pointer fingers to the sky. I've got a visitor here. Hopefully he won't disturb us too much. So take your version of the standing half moon, taking a couple of breaths to exhale into your side bend. It's fine to support yourself on the chair. Expand through the ribs. Feel your ribs smiling open. And then lifting up and floating the arms down. Take this as a moment to notice the difference between one side of your body and the other. And then you can come into the same thing on the other side, coming to the other side of your chair, either taking it with one hand, supporting yourself on the chair. You still get the same lovely side stretch. When you have your hand on your hip or in this steeple pose or temple pose, it's a little bit more of a balance challenge because you have to work with your center of gravity here a little bit to stay steady. So do what supports you and what's available to you. One more deep breath here in your side bend. And remember to inhale as you lengthen up and float the arm down. And take another rolling of those shoulders. Let go. Just any intuitive movements of the arms and the shoulders, which is a prana response. How does prana want to flow after that deep side bend? Okay. We're going to do one more sequence on the chair. Using the chair here, I'm going to do warrior. I'm going to invite you to do a warrior 2 flow. Warrior 2 is a wonderful, another one of those strong, powerful warrior poses, but it opens the hips, so it's often considered to be the feminine version of warrior because you've got open hips and open heart. And some of you, experienced yogis, or if your body is open to it, may want to just take your warrior 2 standing near the chair, or some of you might want to do it on the chair here. So if you're doing it on the chair, you're going to have one butt cheek. So let's say if you're mirroring me, your right buttock is going to be on the chair, and your right thigh is going to be right along the front edge of the chair, as far forward as you can get it without it falling off. Knee over ankle. And your left leg is extended straight out to the side. You want to try to have your foot slit in the same line, your feet in the same line with one another, so that the instep, the center of the arch of the extended leg, in this case the left leg, is lined up with the heel of the front of the right foot. That may not be available to you to get that alignment. So if this foot has to be a little bit more forward, that's okay, but you want to work toward being in one long line from the center of your arch and the extended leg to the heel in the bent knee foot. Your shoulders want to stack over your hips. So you may want to start by just holding onto your chair, either the back of your chair or the front of your chair or both, just to come into that sense of steadiness in your body, that Sushumna, central channel of the spine going vertical. Hips under shoulders, so you're not leaning forward at this point. And you're going to draw the outside edge of your knee toward the back of your chair. So you're not letting the knee kind of slump in toward the center. That way you're going to get a nice inner thigh stretch and a hip opener here. So outside edge of the knee draws kind of toward your pinky toe. And if you're steady and comfortable here, open your heart. If you need to have one hand down steadying yourself here, you can just use one arm. Otherwise, right through the heart center, wide open, and fix your gaze over that right middle finger. So you're feeling a nice hip opening here and heart opening here. And then you can turn the right palm so that it faces away from you, thumb up, and wrap your fingers around the bow. So you're grasping the bow. You're going to put an arrow in the bow and pull it back, setting an intention. What is it that you want to use that energy, that warrior energy, to work toward? Notice the elbow, the left elbow, make sure it's not slumping down, and let it draw right through the heart center. Feel the tension and the power of pulling back on that bow, the tension of intention. Big breath in and release. So you're letting go of that arrow. You've taken some action. Now you're turning the front palm up. The left hand can come to the chair or to your hip and reach up. We're going to take it into dancing warrior. So you can start by just reaching up to the sky, and if it's available, reaching to your side, over to the left side, if you feel steady and comfortable here. Spreading those ribs, it's a nice side bend here. And then back through warrior two, forearm to thigh. So now you're going to invite a diagonal line through the body from the outer edge of your left foot to your left fingertips. This is called extended side angle. Notice if your shoulders are shrugging and see if you can unshrug them. Press firmly into the forearm, into your thigh, and grow long. So you're expanding and lengthening, reaching beyond. This is a gesture of reaching beyond. Breathe right into those fingertips on your left side. And then press, you can press into your chair to help you come back up, and bounce the legs together, and you're going to feel that in your inner thigh, probably in that front leg. So just give a little bounce. Those of you who are doing this standing, though some of you have practiced with me and know these poses, you would do your warrior pose standing, take your standing dancing warrior, and then standing extended side angle. So you have the option to do it on the chair or do it standing. All right? So coming to the other side now, you're going to let that left thigh go along the front edge of the chair. So your left buttock is on the chair, your right buttock is off the chair. Your knee is over your ankle, toes pointing straight ahead. You're going to try to invite that right foot to line up with the heel, the instep of the right foot to line up with the heel of the left foot. Shoulders over hips, long spine. Hold on to the chair if you need to with one hand, or both arms. Wide open heart, wide open hips, knee drawing toward pinky toe. Soften your shoulders a little bit. And as you fix your gaze, so you don't want to have any shrugging going on, unshrug the shoulders. And as you fix your gaze over that left middle finger, bring an intention to mind. So, all of these poses have a physical benefit and a mental, emotional, and spiritual benefit. Hold on to the bow, turn your thumb up and wrap your fingers around the bow. Place the arrow in the bow, and as you pull back, nice and slow, take a deep breath in, feeling the tension of intention. Big breath in, and then exhale, let go, release. That's taking action. And after we take action, letting our arrows fly wherever they fly, turn the front palm up, and the right palm can either be on your chair or on your hip. Lift straight up. This gesture is like releasing it to the universe, saying, thy will be done. Reaching up and back. You've let go of the fruits of your actions now. And let's see what unfolds. Exhale back into your warrior two. And bring your front forearm, I'm saying front because you're facing this direction, but it's your left forearm, to your thigh. Find that diagonal line. Before you even reach this hand up and away, see if you can roll the hip open so you have that nice long line of, their body is actually in one plane, like between, so you're not folding forward with your upper body. Reach long and away. Breathe into those fingertips. This pose is about extending, reaching beyond what you thought was possible. Going beyond your limits. Most of our limits are mental and emotional. So breathe into those fingertips in an invitation to reach beyond what you thought was possible for yourself. Big breath in, grow long, and then release, lowering that upper arm. You can press up through your warrior two and back to face forward on your chair. And just notice what's alive in you. You might feel a lot of energy in the body right now. I'd like to do one more standing balance sequence now before we come down onto the mat. So come beside your chair in your mountain pose, feet hip width apart, and we're going to practice the crane pose, which is just a lovely, beautiful, one-legged balance pose. But before we do that, I want to invite you to bring your awareness to your feet and to your legs as you're standing in this mountain pose, hip width apart. He's being bad. Hip width apart. Palms turned open. Shoulders down and back. This is called Tadasana. It's also called Samastiti, another Sanskrit word which means equal balance. And know that this pose of standing steadily and with ease on your own 2 feet is also a balance practice. We tend to take that for granted if we are people that are mobile enough to be able to stand on our own 2 feet and walk. But when we know people who are not able to do that, who need wheelchairs or somehow have no mobility whatsoever, it can wake us up to the gift that it is to do something as simple and basic as standing steady and balanced on our own 2 feet. Your body, all of your muscles in your feet, your ankles, your legs, are firing. They intuitively know what to do. Constant muscle fibers, neurons firing to keep you balanced. And it's all automatic. You don't even have to think about it. So just appreciate that you have that balance. Samastiti, equal balance. And then from there, we invite a little bit more challenge. You can have one wing gently touching the chair and the outside leg. So if your left side of your body is next to your chair, lift your right knee to hip height. Soften the left knee by unlocking it and open your either one wing, the other wing just gently touching the chair, or maybe you can have a few moments of lifting both wings. You want your elbows soft, your shoulders soft, so you don't want to be tight and stiff. It's different than a warrior pose. This is opening to the grace that carries you without you even having to effort at all. If you need to dip your toe in the water, like a crane dips its toe in the water for steadying yourself here and there, you can do that. And fix your gaze in front of you on the floor a few feet. Soften the muscles around the eyes, the jaw. Notice where you can find a sense of ease and softness, and where you need to keep that steadiness and a little bit of effort. And when you feel ready to come in for a graceful landing, come back to equal balance, samastiti, appreciating your bodily, the balance that you have in your body. When you're ready, you can come to the other side. Always starting, all our balance poses start. I'm going to fix my screen so you can see my head. All our balance poses start with that samastiti, equal balance. Feet hip width apart, remembering to turn your toes straight ahead. So the toes are not at an angle out. You want the outer edges of your feet to be parallel to one another. We start with that. And then lifting the outside leg. either one wing up, one wing just holding onto the chair, or both wings open, soft elbows, soft wrists, soft shoulders, soft gaze. Unlock the standing knee, not bend, but just unlock. Slow, deep breaths in and out through the nose. Breathe and enjoy. Fixing that soft gaze into that spot on the floor, a few feet in front of you. If you need to dip your toe in the water to steady yourself, that's absolutely fine. And when you're ready, coming in for a graceful, smooth landing, and just take a moment of Samastiti, equal balance on both feet. Just checking the time here. Okay. All right. I'm going to give you a moment to transition now to come down to your mat. Rather than lying down, we're going to start with some seated postures. So on your mat or blanket, have your block and strap nearby where you can reach it when you're sitting on your mat. And it might be that your blanket will be helpful to you for this first sequence. I'm putting my blanket in one fold, just one fold of a blanket, and I'm going to bring my sit bones to the very front edge, legs extended. We're coming into the posture called Dandasana, or staff pose. This is just like that mountain pose, except you've got a jackknifed hips. So you've got that same alignment with your feet in line with your center of your hips, with those hip pointers, shoulders in line with your hips, so there's not any shlumpasana going on or leaning back. You've got that long vertical line through the spine. You've got a long line through your legs. Feet are flexed, so there's some energy in the legs. Hands right underneath your shoulders. So find that Dandasana. You're going to need to engage your core a little bit here to support that long spine. If you're not working your core, if you're not engaging that lift in and up, you're going to probably go into Shlumpasana. Shoulders down and back, heart spreads wide. We're going to take it into a seated twist. Remember I said we would have the option to go into a deeper twist. So your option here is to slide one leg. I'm going to start with my right. Slide my right foot so that it comes flat and my knee is bent and my foot is inside, just lined up with the inside of my left thigh. Now you can either have your foot inside, or for a little deeper challenge, place your foot on the outside of your left thigh so the heel comes close to the opposite hip. So whatever feels more available and comfortable for you, you want that foot flat on the mat. You're going to wrap your left arm around your bent knee and reach your right hand forward like you did in the warrior pose, fixing your gaze over that middle finger, and follow it around in a half circle all the way around, straight back behind you. Feel your heart turn toward the right, and then place that hand on the mat just behind your sacrum. So not too far back, because you're going to lean back that way. Hand flat, maybe you need to use fist, that's okay. Shoulders down, heart open, look over your shoulder. And hug that bent knee, which would be your right knee and thigh, in toward your heart. And hold here for a couple of breaths. Find that pulse where you lengthen up through the crown of your head and exhale into the twist, deepening on the exhale. You don't have to force anything, but you want to play with where your edge is, where the place where sensation is strong, but you're not feeling pain. Lengthening on the inhale, deepening into the twist on the exhale. When you're ready to release, slowly unwind. And I'm going to invite you to take the sole of your foot. So if you had your foot crossed over, bring it to the inside of your thigh. Bring the sole of the foot to the inside of the left thigh. The right knee comes out to the side, so you're like in a tree pose, but you're sitting. And here I'm going to invite you to come into a pose we call Janu Shashasana, which stretches the low back and stretches the back of the extended leg. So you can either lift up and fold forward, grabbing calf, ankle, or foot. Don't try to go down it's called head to knee pose, but you don't have to put your head to your knee. What you want to do is invite that arrow-like quality from root to crown, lead with the heart. So maybe you'll only go forward a little bit. Maybe you'll be grabbing, instead of foot, your calf. Shoulders back and down, leading with the heart, folding from the crease of the hip. So if you notice you're going into the slouchasana, then see if you can back off a little bit. What can also be helpful, some of you might want to use a strap on the outside, on the sole of the foot, but not letting the strap be so long that you have to pull your elbows back. Just give yourself just a little bit of room between your hands, so you're still long in the arms. Back of the neck is long, your gaze is down. You're turning your heart toward your lower leg or knee area. It doesn't matter how far down you go. What matters is if you're feeling a stretch in the back of your leg and in the lower back, you're going to feel some expansion there. One more breath. And rising back up. Slowly extend both legs back into Dandasana. Maybe give a little shake. And we'll take the twist on the other side. So slide your left heel in, or whatever the opposite side is for you. Foot flat, long spine, or bring the foot to the other side of the right leg. Wrap your right arm around your left folded leg. Reach your left hand forward. Fix your gaze over that middle finger and follow it around. Feeling the spine rotate here. Heart turns toward the left. Palm comes flat or fist to invite length and lift. That sense of elegance and gracefulness. Open heart and look over your left shoulder. While you hug that bent leg into your chest. And on every inhale, you're going to soften back away just a hair from the twist. Every exhale, you're going to deepen into it. Give it the juice. So there's a little pulse with breath that invites us to explore that edge and deepen into the twist a little bit at a time. When you're ready to release from your twist, slowly exhale to turning the torso forward and bring the sole of the left foot inside the right thigh. Invite the outside of the left knee to come down toward the earth, centered on your sit bones. If you bring your fingertips down beside you, and invite a little lift and a little twist so the navel turns toward the knee of the extended leg. Then lift and lengthen and fold, using either strap or finding a place where you can clasp your hands to invite a deepening with the exhale. Thinking about your spine like an arrow that goes from the tailbone right out through the crown of the head. An arrow doesn't have a bend in it, so there's no slouchasana here. So even if you don't go down very far, if you keep the integrity of that long spine, you're going to deeper experience with your stretch here. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. And meet it with curiosity, gratitude, and love. You are alive. Celebrate that. Janu Shashasana, head to knee pose. Pressing back up, come back into Dandasana. And just feel what's alive in your body now. Just going to check the timer, see how much time we have. Okay, I'd like to invite us to come down onto the mat now. So, taking your time, I was going to do one more forward bend stretch, but I think this is a good time to transition down onto the mat. So bend your knees, support yourself on your elbows, however it's comfortable for you to come down onto the mat and hug your thighs in toward your ribs, wrapping your hands, your arms either around your folded legs or bringing hands behind the thigh. See if you can just rock side to side for a little bit of spinal massage. Then coming to center, bring your hands onto your knees and find some circles of the knees wide apart from one another. So you get that nice opening of the hip, stretching the inner thigh, hug the thighs in, then press them away. So the knees are circling in opposite directions, wide apart, and then drawing in. So what you're doing is stirring your hip joint with the head of the thigh bone. And circling the other way. And then bringing the inner thighs together, planting the feet down. Now you're going to have a little space between your thighs once your feet come down, preparing for bridge pose. Knees are facing the sky, feet are hip width apart, feet are flat. Just walk your heels so that they're as close to your sitting bones as you can comfortably get them. Hands come down by your sides. On the inhale, roll the spine up one vertebra at a time, like that string of pearls, slowly inhaling up. See if you can lift the shoulder blades off of the mat, or at least between the shoulder blades, that point between the shoulder blades, lifting them up. Lifting that point up, slowly rolling down one vertebra at a time on the exhale. Taking your time to do some of these bridge rolls as a warm-up for a holding bridge. Rolling up on the inhale, hips higher than heart, heart higher than head, and rolling down from top to bottom. Couple more rolls like that. Syncing up your movement and your attention and your breath. And the next time you lift up, I'm going to invite you to hold for 3 deep breaths. Ujjayi breath on the back of the throat, a little bit of contraction in the back of the throat. Activate the inner thighs toward one another. Keep the feet flat. Keep the hips higher than the heart. Press the top of the chest toward the chin. Those of you who feel it's available to roll your upper arms under the body and clasp your hands can do that. Press the outer edge of your hands into the mat. Lift, lift, lift. Spread the heart. Walk the shoulder blades toward one another. Press the top of the chest toward the chin. Breathe and enjoy. Some of you may want to stay for longer than 3 breaths. That's fine. When you're ready to release, unclasp your hands and roll down from between the shoulder blades, down the middle back, down the lower back, down to the sacrum. And once you're firmly grounded back with your spine on the mat, you can slowly hug your thighs in. And if you'd like to take it into happy baby, soles of the feet face the sky, grab your ankles, or I like to grab, if you're going to grab your feet, hands inside the feet so that the knees can come down on either side of the rib cage. So you want your arms inside your legs, not on the outside. The knees try to draw down to frame the rib cage. The feet face the sky. The lower legs are going straight up and down. Maybe get a little playful with your happy baby. Rocking side to side, one leg up, one leg down. Maybe you want to make baby sounds. Maybe you want to put your big toe in your mouth. Really get into that baby exploration. And then bringing the soles of the feet together. I'm going to invite you to come into a supine bound angle pose, which is basically making your legs like the shape of a diamond, the soles of the feet together, and the outer thighs draw down toward the mat. You're opening your hips. This is a restorative hip opener. So the actual shape of the posture is what invites an open hip. For some, this is a little bit too strong on the hips and the inner thighs, so if you need to place a block or a rolled up blanket or towel underneath your thighs, you can do that. Soles of the feet together, outer edges of the feet rest on the mat. Knees splay open to the side, either with blocks or rolled up blanket. You don't want it too thick. You want to invite an opening at the hip, but not have it that you feel that you're so challenged that you can't relax into it. Bring one hand to the low belly and one hand to the chest so we can follow that wave of breath that moves from the low belly up through the rib cage into the chest. In and out through the nose, a gentle ujjayi sound, whisper sound in the back of the throat. Exhale, chest. Exhale, rib cage empties, belly empties. If at any point this open hip pose does not feel comfortable for you, even with the supports, you can always transition to Shavasana, corpse pose. Just take this as a few moments to let the pose do its work on you. Let it invite a delicious opening of the hips. As you enjoy that wave of breath that moves through the belly, ribs, and chest, pause at the top to enjoy that moment of fullness, that fragrance of prana, and exhale, emptying chest, emptying ribs, emptying belly at your own pace. Coming into the spirit of gratitude and being alive and the breath that moves through you. The body that you've been blessed with today. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for this breath, Spirit. Thank you for this breath. Thank you for this breath. breath. Spirit, thank you for this breath. This healing, this healing, this healing breath. This healing, this healing, this healing breath. When you are ready, I invite you to transition into Shavasana. You can take your hands to the outside of your thighs, draw them together, maybe hug them in for a moment, and then slide your legs out in front of you, palms turned up. Maybe you want to put a blanket underneath or a bolster underneath your knees. Just a moment to let go of any control of the breath and let the body just melt into the earth beneath you. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit. Thank you for this life. This wonderful, this wonderful, this wonderful life. This wonderful, this wonderful, wonderful life. This healing, healing, this healing breath. This healing, this healing, this healing breath. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, beautiful, this beautiful day. And when you are ready, slowly invite the breath to deepen. Bring some movement into the fingers and toes. And if it feels good, you can take a stretch like you're just waking up, reaching the hands back behind you, reaching the toes in front of you. Letting the body grow long, breathing into your fingers, breathing into your toes, and then folding the legs and giving yourself another embrace. And from this embrace, roll onto one side, come into your fetal pose. And taking the top arm, whatever side you're on, to slowly press yourself up. Other hand presses to come up to seated. Either on your mat if that's comfortable, or slowly making your way up to your chair. Give yourself a moment to do that. Once again, we'll return to the place we started. Long and lifted spine, open heart. Bringing the palms together in front of the heart. May you take this balance that we've cultivated in body, in our energy body, physical body, mind and heart, into your world today. And I want to also wish everyone a very happy Thanksgiving, however you celebrate, with whomever you celebrate. I'm grateful for all of you. Let's share the sound of Om together. Those of you who wish to join me in an Om, taking a deep breath in Namaste. The divinity in me sees and bows to the divinity in you. Lovely to practice with you, everyone. If you want to come off mute, if you have anything to share, you can do that.
Thank you, Jyoti. It was lovely.
Mm.
I was able to do, thank you. I was able to do some standing,
Yeah.
standing.
Yeah. See, yeah, many of you who've practiced with me before in other classes don't have to use the chair. I'm sort of defaulting to the chair to work with the people who need that extra support. But you don't have to use the chair. And,
No, it's much easier to use it for the opening, especially than to get down on the floor, I think.
Exactly.
So, yeah, and it's better for my back. I think I'm not doing so much twisting and things I'm not supposed to do with the rods.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good for me. So thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.